Hello, welcome to Storytime with Miss Bingham. I want to take a minute before we read our story to talk about what we were learning while we were still at school. We were talking about reduce, reuse, and recycling. And we know that that's all about trash, remember? So we talked about trash and we said that trash belongs in the trash can. But we also know that sometimes trash doesn't get in the trash can. If you remember, we looked around our playground and we noticed that there was trash all around the edge of the fence. Things like plastic water bottles and empty trash bags, candy wrappers, things like that were all around our playground. There's a word for that trash that's not in the trash can that's laying on the ground. That word is litter. Can you say litter? And litter is the trash that people don't put in the trash can that falls to the ground. So let's think a minute about that litter and what it could do to our animals that live around our playground. There are lots of dogs and cats and birds and other animals that live around our playground. So all those animals who come around there while we're not playing, what might that trash do to them? Maybe they could think it's food. They might try to eat that trash. That can make them sick. That trash can also blow over into the rivers and make our waters dirty and can make our fish sick. They might think that it's food. So that's something that the litter causes a problem with, is our animals. It can be harmful to our animals. So I want you to keep that in mind today as we read this book about a couple of turtles. These turtles live in the ocean. And this book is called The Adventures of Gary and Harry, a tale of two turtles. Story by Lisa Matsumoto, illustration by Michael Furura. And here's our title page. Here's our turtles, Gary and Harry. Deep in the sparkling sea, Gary, the green sea turtle, and his best friend Harry, the hawksbill turtle, played in their ocean home. Each day they would swim to the surface and happily dive beneath the waves. So let's remember that Gary is a green sea turtle. See that? He's nice and green. And then Harry is a hawksbill turtle. Can you say hawksbill? Now a hawk is a type of bird that has a really strong beak. And if you look closely at Harry, his mouth looks like the beak of a hawk. So I guess that's why he's called a hawksbill turtle. Gary and Harry loved their carefree life in the sea and liked to visit their many ocean friends, like Olivia the octopus, Lori the lobster, and even Herman, the grumpy old hermit crab, who was really nothing but a big softy under that crusty old shell. For Gary and Harry, each day was a great underwater adventure. Some days they would deep explore, deep into dark underwater caverns. A cavern is like a cave. Other days, they would search for long-lost treasures buried deep in the hulls of old sunken ships. Oh, look, they found some treasure. When they wanted a good laugh, they would visit the crazy clownfishes who performed in Harold Harlequin Shrimp's spectacular sea circus. One day, after their morning adventure, Gary and Harry were especially hungry. As always, it was difficult deciding what to have for lunch, since they had very different tastes in food. How about a salty seaweed salad made of fresh algae? Gary suggested. Algae? Yuck! Harry replied, making a face. I'd rather have a nice, tasty jellyfish. His wish had been answered, for suddenly a school of jellyfish floated by. Wow! Look at all those jellyfish! Harry quickly swam to the largest one and swallowed it in. One big gulp. Gary expected to hear a satisfied, "Ah!" But instead, Harry responded with a terrified, "Ack!" Harry was gasping and choking. That was no jellyfish he had swallowed. It was a plastic bag. Harry knew many sea turtles had died from choking on plastic bags, but he never once thought it would happen to him. Harry desperately tried everything to remove the plastic bag, but it just wouldn't come out. His life flashed before him. Luckily, Gary had just completed his turtle safety class, and by using the Heimlich maneuver, the plastic bag flew right out from Harry's throat. "Whew, that was close," Harry said, while catching his breath. "How did a plastic bag get in the ocean anyway?" I wonder how a plastic bag got in the ocean. The turtles don't use plastic bags, do they? And the other fish, their friends like the octopus, Olivia the octopus, and Lori the lobster, and Herman the hermit crab, they don't use plastic bags. So how did that get there? That reminds me of the litter around our playground. We saw some plastic bags just lying on the ground. I bet as the wind blows, that litter on the ground gets blown to other places and ends up in rivers and sometimes the oceans. I bet that's how that got there. Should a plastic bag be in the ocean? No, it shouldn't be. How did a plastic bag get in the ocean anyway? How else? Gary answered. The humans. Well, they need to be more careful to keep their trash out of our homes, Harry said angrily. Gary couldn't agree with him more. Suddenly, Harry's stomach rumbled. All the excitement worked up his appetite. "Well, I'm starving," he told Gary. "Let's get lunch." Just then, a beautiful jellyfish floated by. "Look, Harry, just what you asked for. Lunch." After what Harry had been through, suddenly jellyfish didn't seem very appealing. "Maybe I'll try one of those salty seaweed salads." Gary's face quickly lit up. "Well, I know the perfect place to go," he said excitedly. And with a flick of their flippers, they quickly dove through the crystal blue water, eager to enjoy a nice, delicious, relaxing lunch. The end. I'm so glad that Harry the hawksbill turtle was okay. He was just trying to have some lunch and was looking for a yummy jellyfish to eat because that's what he likes to eat. But did he get a jellyfish? Nope. He thought it was a jellyfish, but it was a plastic bag instead. I'm glad his friend Gary was there to help him because that could have ended up really badly. Harry could have choked on that plastic bag. So let's remember that litter that we see on the ground won't just stay where we put it or where the wind blows it. It'll continue to move around, and it not just makes our doesn't only make our earth look dirty, but it can also hurt our animals, even the ones far, far away from us, because that litter gets blown and tossed in the wind. So be careful to always make sure that your trash goes in the trash can. Don't be a litter bug, all right? Keep that trash in the trash can where it belongs. Thanks for joining me for this fun story today. I'll see you next time.